Ravens flock. The flock rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. So I'm telling you now, it's about to go down. The podcast, the flock rundown. Ravens, baby. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.
Appreciate you, Ray. What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. All off season, we've been talking about needing some edge help to complete this roster, needing some edge depth, and it looks like the Ravens have a visit scheduled with Dawuane DJ Smoot early next week. Now, Smoot has been on the Jaguars for 6 years. He was drafted in the 2017 draft out of Illinois. He plays edge and can play inside as well. He's 6'3", 249, and he's 28 years old, so he's in the prime of his career, but he just tore his Achilles last year. So obviously that has to check out. That's probably why the Ravens are bringing him in for a visit. He's going to have to pass a physical, but for them to bring him on a visit, they like the potential fit. Now, I don't think this moves the needle at the top as a starter for our team, but it does provide some nice depth, like a Jason Pierre-Paul type depth that we had last year. And it would also help with the blow of Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell's on the Falcons now. Now, he's not as big as Calais Campbell, so it's hard to replace a Calais Campbell, but I'm just saying it would help with that loss, and it would add a Jason Pierre-Paul type guy to our rotation. Can play edge, can play inside, and is pretty good at rushing the passer. He's had 5 sacks or more in the last 4 seasons, so he's been pretty productive, especially as like a rotational guy. Like I said, it doesn't move the needle at the top. You know, we're not getting a 10-sack guy, but I think that 10-sack guy is already on our roster, and it's David Ojabo. We'll see. Obviously, he hasn't played a ton, but I think that we already have that guy. I think Owe takes a leap. We need depth. Totally on board with also bringing back Justin Houston. I've seen a ton of reports that it's most likely, and I haven't heard any Justin Houston rumblings like anywhere else. So I would assume that if Justin Houston wants to play, that it is back in Baltimore. And then if Smoot's health checks out and they're cool with the Achilles and he's able to play some this year and be another rotational guy, then I like our depth. I think that's a good move. I think Justin Houston and DJ Smoot coming in as rotational depth pieces. Houston doesn't play as inside as much, so Smoot would also be able to play edge and inside. So I like that versatility. I like his size. We wouldn't ask a ton for him, especially coming off an injury. We're not asking him to be a 3-down pass rusher. So I think he'll just come in on third downs. He'll come in when we need help. It doesn't help the run game a ton, but I think we'll be all right there. We got a lot of studs inside. It seems like he's doing incredible in rehab. I saw a couple videos of him moving around. He looks pretty good. A pass rusher, is not going to have to do as much as running as a wide receiver. So as long as he can keep his strength and explosiveness and be able to move his feet, I think his recovery time would line up with the season, or at least early on in the season. And he's only 28, so if he can get healthy, it could be a nice rotational guy for a few years. This isn't the older vet that we usually sign, like the Pierre-Paul or Justin Houston, right? But he is coming off an Achilles, so that does hurt for sure. I'm not saying that that's nothing. And maybe his physical doesn't check out and they think he's not ready and they move on to another option. But as of now, according to Ian Rappaport, this visit is scheduled early next week, right before training camp. So the Ravens are clearly looking for some edge help, which edge and corner have to be the 2 top needs of this team still. If we're going to bring in any 2 positions, it has to be those positions. At edge, I think we have the top guys, or at least I'd like to see the top guys play, right? You got to let Owe and Ojabo and Bowser, and you got to let them get some clock. See what we have. On the inside, Matabuke, Travis Jones, Michael Pierce is back. I think we're good. I like that lineup. Now, if someone's not performing, if we can't get any pressure off the edge as the season starts, like Owe's not playing well or something, then we can reevaluate. But right now, I think edge, we just need some depth, right? So Justin Houston and Smoot sound like the perfect depth pieces. I'm totally on board with that as long as the health checks out. I think that they would be incredible rotation guys, and we're going to need that. Now, corner, I'd like a little bit more of a proven guy because I think that we lack a little more top-end talent at corner. We have okay depth there. We have a lot of young guys. We still haven't even seen what Jalen Armour-Davis and Pepe Williams are going to look like. So maybe they're waiting for training camp to start to see if these guys are even going to be there for one. They haven't been practicing in minicamp. They've kind of been out all offseason with battling injuries. So that's another concern. Like, are they healthy? Are they going to come back to training camp and be able to produce? Or do we got to go sign a corner ASAP? And are they going to take a leap? Are they going to be better than they were last year? You have to be. I mean, they were rookies last year. Jalen Armour-Davis had a terrible year, in my opinion. There was a couple small flashes, and I mean small as in like a few plays. But the majority of the plays, I didn't like what I was seeing. Definitely not writing him off or anything. There's a ton of time to grow. Now, Pepe Williams, I loved what I saw from him, but he's smaller. He had some injury problems. It could be hard for him to stay healthy. That's my only concern. He's been hurt. He's a smaller corner than I'd like, but Pepe Williams plays bigger than he is. He's a fighter. He's a dog. He's a Raven. So I like what Pepe brings to the table. He's just got to stay healthy, and he needs to take a leap as well. I mean, you can't stay where you were as your rookie year. I want to see some growth. He's got a year under this defense now. He should be healthy at this point. I'm hearing that they should be ready for training camp. But either way, Eric DeCosta's back to work. Got some edge visits lined up. And I would expect some corner visits as well. I would expect to bring in a couple more guys before the season starts. Might not be a top-end talent that moves the needle that everyone's screaming about, but these depth guys are who ends up really rounding out your roster. How happy were we with Justin Houston and Jason Pierre-Paul last year? Both of those signings were incredible. And now we have a Chabo as well thrown into that top-end mix. And we're just securing some depth there, which I really like, because we were thin at edge. If any of our top guys went down at edge, we were in trouble. We did not have a lot of edge depth, so I know they're going to bring in some edge depth. Seems like it's going to be Houston, and then Smoot definitely has a visit lined up early next week, so we'll see if his health checks out. I would imagine if he is healthy and ready to play, that they're going to get a cheap deal done, because why else bring him in for a visit? You obviously like what you saw on tape. They're just going to have to work him out, see where he's at in his recovery process. But either way, I do like those as depth moves, and I think that would round out that edge position if we could bring in Houston and Smoot, and I think we'd be good at edge. And we'll have to see how Owe and Ajabo play as the year goes, but they need a chance. You know, I don't want to bring in a top guy and cut into their time. I'd like to see them shine. I'd like to give them an opportunity and give the team an opportunity to see what they have. But we'll see. The season is kicked off officially. The rookies are already at training camp. Training camp starts July 26th, and preseason August 12th, right around the corner. And then before you know it, we'll be in the regular season. So nonstop football from here out. The videos are going to be ramping up again. There's finally some stuff to talk about. And football's back, baby. Let's go. Thank you guys for supporting the channel as always. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.